And we're back with part two of last week's comics review. So we've got Batman 706 here, and again, this is you can tell that this is the Dick Grayson Batman because the Dick Grayson Batman has the kind of old-fashioned Batman emblem, and Bruce Wayne has the yellow circle logo back on his costume. So suit. Sometimes I don't know. They call them costumes. Sometimes they're called costumes. Sometimes they're called suits. Sometimes they're called uniforms. Who knows? But this is just, this is more craziness with Lucius Fox and him getting the crap beaten out of him, and the Riddler again seeming to be, he seems to be a bad guy again, and his daughter and his daughter Enigma, who seems to be, and this is where it kind of bothers me. She's kind of almost like if Harley Quinn were the Joker's daughter. This is kind of what this character would be like. So it seems, a little bit hacky, but this whole thing with I Ching and the Reaper and Catwoman and her apprentice Catgirl. So we've got a lot of it's like they got a lot of partners, got a lot of kid sidekicks now. So it's getting a little crazy in Tony Daniels' Batman world. This whole thing, with the Sensei, I don't really get it. I don't really get what's going on. And I read this comic, so I read it every week. Or, I read it every month, so, it's like, I don't know, I don't understand why I don't know what's going on. It's like, have I really missed that much in the, couple of months where I had this yanked from my pull list because I just wasn't that interested in seeing Grant Morrison dick around more with Batman and, his, return of Bruce Wayne, stuff, so, whatever, again, obviously brilliantly drawn. Tony Daniels, a great talent as far as an artist, and he seems to be pretty good at writing. I just think that he's maybe taking too many chances. No, I can't fault somebody for taking too many chances, for too many risks. That's that can be a good thing, but sometimes it can backfire. So I guess that's my point, is that this seems to be an area where he's getting too mired in the conceptual end and less in the execution. So I think he's trying to make it too layered, or he's making it too layered and it's just not working. So that's my take on it. Now we're going to go to something that I've heard a lot about, and I just picked up the first issue last week. It's been out for a couple, more than a couple of months now, and that is Kill Shakespeare. This is number 1 of Kill Shakespeare. Basically, what we have here is it begins essentially with it's to not get too much into it. It's basically taking characters from that Shakespeare had created and putting them together. It's kind of it even says on the back, it's like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen meets Northlanders. So it's I haven't read Northlanders. I don't even really know what it's about. I'm sure that it's I've heard some really good things about it. So in that respect, I feel kind of bad that I haven't really latched on that much to it. But the main focal character seems to be Hamlet, at least for now, at least in this issue, and that he actually survives. He's the comic is written pretty well in not necessarily iambic pentameter, but it seems to capture, Shakespeare's language. But the really interesting part, the reason that it's called Kill Shakespeare, is because uh, the mission seems to be that there is a wizard named William Shakespeare that needs to die for reasons of which I won't really get into because I'm not sure that I even fully understand. This is a very ambitious book. I'm sure it's going to cause a lot of controversy. I read some reviews of the first trade that they put out, and it seems to be pretty controversial, at least from a purist standpoint. But for people who read comics, I mean, hey, it's why not? Why not fuck with it a little bit? You know, and they do seem to be fucking with it quite a bit, and Hamlet basically meets seems to be Macbeth, and I think that Prospero seems to be involved here somewhere. I might be reading this wrong because the name is never really revealed. But it's a really interesting read, and I recommend picking it up if for no other reason than it is pretty damn ambitious, and it's worth checking out. It's definitely worth checking out. So going back to actual releases that were last week, as opposed to just shit that I read last week, we've got Invincible Iron Man number 500. This was easily the most frustrating read that I've had in a really long time. Matt Fraction is someone that I really respect. I really like his writing. If you follow him on Twitter, it's like the ravings of a fucking mental patient. I mean, he is, without a doubt, a very screwed up individual. But he writes well, with the exception of this issue. It's way, way, way too all over the place. I like the fact that he kind of brings, in this particular issue, he brings Peter Parker to help him put together some of what he's lost in his memory, because if you haven't followed the quote-unquote Stark disassembled storyline, basically, in order to keep everything, the entire superhuman registry safe, when the SHRA was passed after the Civil War and he was head of S.H.I.E.L.D., when Norman Osborn took over, he knew that Norman Osborn was eventually going to come for him and all the information that's on the SHRA database. So he basically kind of uploaded it into his head and slowly started removing it. And so he's lost some, he's lost some memory. He enlists Peter Parker to help him out. This has a couple of dystopian futures going on in it. Aside from the Salvador Larroca art, there's some other guest art from Kano, who is one of those one-name artists that does really, really sketchy work. It's like Klaus Janson on Crank. It's way too all over the place and looks just like it looks terrible. I don't like that kind of stuff. So, but it has some interesting future possibilities here, but it's too all over the place. Again, I mean it's really ambitious, but it's just too fucking bizarre. Which is very unusual, because this started out with probably one of Invincible Iron Man with Fraction writing it started out as probably one of the smartest. The Six Nightmares of Tony Stark. That was really potent stuff, and this is just like it's too all over the place. But I haven't really been following it. It got yanked from my pull bin because it just, I needed to cut down on an expense. So, but I picked this one up because I thought it would be, an interesting place to kind of jump back on, especially with the .1 issues that they're going to be starting next month. So, We're going to come back in just another couple seconds, so we've got more to come, so stay tuned.